was that bell in your ear that was ringing, telling you to go out and do something more?
Well, I think what really triggered me was one event. One event. When I was president of my local organization in Limbe, we had a hospital. Africa, we don't have too many of these hospitals. It was one provincial hospital. And if you had an accident or something went wrong, that's the hospital you are going to land into before maybe you can figure out moving you to a private hospital. But as part of our activities, we visited the hospital, and in visiting the hospital, realized that this hospital had no functioning toilets. And like just think about that. This hospital serves 150,000 people, and there was no functioning toilet. And you had women who were coming to this hospital to have children, and you had, emergency cases that were taken to. We don't know the number of people who lost their lives because of the hygiene, the poor hygienic or sanitary conditions of that hospital. So we visited the hospital, and we were given a tour of the hospital because we wanted to know what we could do to help. And basically, we thought maybe we'll do the mundane things, maybe raise money to buy gloves, or the small things. When we were done with the tour of that hospital, the only toilet that was functioning was that of the director of the hospital. And I left that place thinking, was the hospital designed for the director? So I decided, we went back to our local organization, and we decided that we were going to do something about it. So we went back to our local organization with our members. I was president. I said, we're going to solve the problem of this hospital. We had no money. We were just trying to start out in life. We had no relationships. We're not, we're little known. But what we had at the time, and this is where young people come in, is the belief that we could do something. And that's what drove us. We organized a fundraiser to raise initial funds, which we were thinking maybe, if we made $5,000, that would have been great. There was a storm on the day of the fundraiser, and we actually lost money. But we never lost faith. And what we did is go back to the hospital and take pictures of the hospital. Go to a trade show where people were exhibiting products and making money. We paid to get a booth in a trade show, and the only product we could display was the pictures of the hospital. And that was transformational. We were able to raise over $60,000. Now, when I say that in the context of Cameroon in 1998, that was phenomenal. We did not just rebuild the toilets, we transformed the entire water system in a hospital. With that, we worked for 1 month, day and night, to completely transform that hospital. And when we started the work, other big corporations like the oil refinery, like the Cameroon Development Corporation, which was West Africa's biggest plantation, came in and did their own part of the work. So we triggered a movement. Now that demonstrated to me that no matter how colossal the project is, no matter how big the challenge is, the most important part is to begin to address the challenge. And if we didn't have the ability to foresee a different kind of hospital, then we would never be able to get to the point where we were transforming the hospital. And so by seeing that and seeing that we were not government officials, we had no titles, no badges. we were able to do that for our people, that has continued to transform lives of people in that community. I thought then, as I think now, that each one of us has phenomenal abilities to be transformational. And that's what continues to drive me. And I don't say this to mean that there are no failures along the way, because that in itself is what helps drive your creativity. And when I talk about that story in Limbe, our first attempt was actually a failure. And we could have resigned ourselves to that. But we never lost sight of what the opportunity was. It was not just for the hospital. It was for the people. And that's the biggest opportunity. And that's what continues to drive me. Is that whilst I'm here, for as long as I'm going to be here, this cannot just be a contribution to earn a living. Because that's not why I was placed here. It has to be a contribution to society. For the good quality air that we breathe, the lights we see, the cars we travel on, the technology that we leverage, is not only designed by people who were motivated by short-term gain, money or titles or badges. It was driven by people who saw a contribution that they could make to bring value to our lives, and it's given us better lives today. What do we hold ourselves accountable to contributing that will grant the people that come after us a better life?